This goes out to all my PTK soldiers out there, man. I want to talk about your mind because essentially that is your greatest ally in life and also your worst enemy. And here's what I mean by that. Over the last couple of weeks, me and a couple of brothers of mine who I've been kind of creating like a mastermind group where we go after certain goals and we do our best to try to elevate our mindset, elevate our approach, elevate our perception on what we can and can't do. We actually came up with something called Hell Week because essentially in the group, what we did is we set 100-day goals for one or two things in our life that were the most important things that we wanted to get done by the end of this year. So essentially, when we set our goals down, we figured what we need to focus on. I said, hey, are y'all some crazy motherfuckers? I said, are y'all crazy enough to do what I'm about to tell you? Because for those of y'all who are listening, if you really got that dog in you, I challenge you to do this. So basically, what I'm about to tell you is something that I have found, I think on YouTube or on ChatGPT, where I was essentially just looking up some of the training methods that Navy SEALs have. I was writing a song and in one of the lyrics, I said, fighting mental battles, it builds a Navy SEAL. So out of my curiosity, I just went on ChatGPT and asked it like, hey, what are some training things or training methods that Navy SEALs typically do when they're getting prepared to go on the battlefield? And it was listing down all these different things. And it was saying how essentially Navy SEALs have to build an extreme high level of mental resiliency, psychological resiliency when they're training. So that way, when they're dealing with the stress, with the emotion, with the pressure, with the trauma of being in a battlefield where it's literally life or death every single step, you're not going to essentially go into flight mode. You're going to have some sort of reference point for you that will allow you to continue to fight, to continue to grow, to continue to move. So what I did is I said, hey, well, since we're going to do this goal, how about we create a Hell Week based off of our goals? And essentially the output that we were doing, it was kind of like we 10x'd it. For those of you guys who are familiar with Grant Cardone, he has a very famous book called 10X. It's a sales book, but it's also just a business mindset book. And he said, whatever efforts that you're putting in on a daily basis, you need to find ways to 10X it. And I know a lot of y'all was like, bro, are you smoking that M? Because how in the world do you think I'm going to 10X something when I'm just one man? And that's my point. Your mind is probably telling you, man, I can't do this, bro. This dude is crazy, man. He's trying to make me be a robot. He's trying to make me be a machine. And you know what that is? That's your mind setting limits before you even went into the battlefield. The reason why I'm telling you guys to do something like that, like 10Xing whatever it is that you have to do in order to grow your business or in order to, learn a new skill or things like that, is not because I'm trying to set an unrealistic expectation, but I'm trying to help you mold your mind to be able to think outside of what you've set certain limits for. Because again, your mind loves comfort. Your mind loves to say the same. And like one thing that a former guy that I used to watch on YouTube named Steffes Cole would say, if you complain, you stay the same. And in this world, this dog eats dog world, this very competitive world, as men, we're not going to be rewarded for thinking that we can only do what we can do. Sometimes you have to be willing to branch outside of your comfort zone because that's going to allow you to unleash a greater version of who you really are if you don't set limits. That's something that one of my mentors who I'm working with is telling me. He was telling me, hey, bro, wake up at 4. Hey, wake up at 4:35 or even 6. And I'm like, bro, I can't do that, man. It's just so hard. He said, hey, do you hear what you just telling yourself? You're already telling yourself you can't do something before you even do it. And as I started to implement that practice, and I'm not perfect at it, but as I started to implement that practice and I woke up 2 hours earlier, I started to notice I became a lot more productive. I reached out to somebody within my tech training program so I can get a new tech job. And he was saying, hey, the amount of applications that you've been applying for within the last 3 months, you need to do that same amount in a week. And I'm like, bro, are you crazy? Are you out of your damn mind? You out your rabbit ass mind? But I went after it. I didn't get the amount that he told me to do, but I damn near did 85%. And lo and behold, all these fruits of my hard labor coming back because of the work that I'm putting in. So that's my point. You guys have to be willing to take yourself to a higher mental level, because once you start to take yourself to that higher mental level, you're going to have higher expectations and the ability to do more work because you're not putting yourself in your comfort zone or within your limitations in the recesses of your mind. You see what I mean? So what I want you guys to do, man, Whatever specific task that you say you can't do, or you feel like you need to do more, but you're just being complacent and you feel like, man, I can't do it. I challenge you for 7 straight days. Well, 6 days, because you need 1 day to rest. I challenge you for 6 days to set a goal and to do whatever you need to do to get it done and try your best. I want you to aim a goal that's going to allow you to shoot for the stars, so that way you can land on the moon. Because it doesn't matter if you get to the stars, because if you land on the moon, you already exceeded the expectations of what people thought were possible. And that's how you allow your mind to become your greatest ally compared to your worst enemy. Because the things that you tell yourself, if you start to tell yourself you can do this, you can do this, you can do that, there's 10, 15, 20 people on a daily basis who see what you're doing and tell themselves, he can never do that. He can never go through with that. He can never accomplish that. And whose will is greater? Your will within your own mind, or the will of what other people are saying about you? It's a battle. It's a mental battle. So I want you guys to really focus in on that and stop trying to limit yourself, because that's your default. Learn to reroute it. Learn to factory reset yourself. That way you can go out and accomplish things that you never thought was possible. So I hope this video helped you guys. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.